Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Steelers Nation, the boys are all here on a Victory Monday. Welcome, gentlemen. We are simulcasting tonight on the PSF app and on Steelers Realm Podcast. So thanks for joining in. Guys, good to be with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Freight train. How you doing?
Oh, good. Glad to see you guys. Glad to be back on the show with you guys. Me and TA have been running tight ship while you guys have been out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man.
When I mean tight ship, I mean hour and a half shows. But... right. That's what I expected. Yeah.
Oh, man. Don't dog him too bad. He's not feeling up to par tonight, though, man. Hoping you're feeling better, TA. That shit that's going on. It sucks, man.
I'm ready to talk about this exciting weekend.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to dig into it, man. Let's get right into it.
How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Everybody enjoy themselves?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. Made a nice spatchcock turkey. If you guys have ever seen one of those.
Oh, I need to get tips from you, dude.
It is
smoking.
It is the best. It is the best.
Here.
Is that like a turducken? No. Oh, okay. It's to make it simple. You remove the spine of the bird so you can flatten it out and cook it real nice and even all the way around. So you butterfly it.
Butterfly, right?
Kind of, yeah, basically. Yeah,
okay. They have a special name for it.
It's a preparation style, but it's you rip its spine out. That's the best way.
Yeah, and then flatten that bird out.
Yeah, just crack the breastbone down and makes everything. It cooks it an hour and a half. 17.
I tell you what. As much food as I ate, I should have ripped my own spine out. I couldn't go back up to the damn table.
It might have saved you the trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was good. How about you, TA? We had 22 people at the house, man.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, grandkids and everything. It was a good time.
Wow.
How'd you do, TA?
We had 36 at the house.
You were hosting.
Oh, we were hosting. I was the host with the mostest. We had it going on.
He got wore out by grandma. That's why he's sick. His immune system's took a hit.
Yeah. Grammy was, 94-year-old was talking about it on Saturday. She wore my ass out.
That's how my great grandmother is. She's in her mid-90s right now. You wouldn't know it talking to her.
Yep. Nope. Got to go.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking on the way home too. We're thankful everybody was there and still doing okay and hanging in there. And, like we told our kids, are like, hey, at this stage, parents, grandparents are getting older, man. You got to spend some family time together. And it was a good time. Glad everybody had a great time. Capped it off with the win on Sunday too.
We did.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love it.
Got to get the hat on. Got to get the visor.
Yeah. Had to dress for the occasion here.
Well, he's trying to audition for offensive coordinator.
Hey, I mean, he's got his work cut out for him, apparently, from what we saw.
He got the Randy Fitchner look going today.
Wait. We got Randy. We got the Randy specs.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
There you go.
It wouldn't be complete without.
Yeah. Yep. Can't let them see the mouth. They'll read those lips.
There you go, Randy in the house.
Oh man, love it.
So, yeah,
I'm
man.
telling you, dude, you got to do Randy Fichtner for Halloween.
Only a few would get it. The true Steeler fans,
but the few that would, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think I got a spreadsheet somewhere with a bunch of colors on it. Maybe I'll just laminate that sucker.
Right. There you go.
Good deal. Well, hey, did the Steelers find their new offensive coordinator team?
For the rest of the year, I would say so, but we'll see.
For the rest of the year, anyhow, too. But boy, what a refreshing change of pace from play one, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I won't steal the light. FT Freight Train is the man up for his instant reaction. So let's jump into it, man.
I mean, it was a sight for sore eyes. I mean, you want to talk about opening the middle of the field up. I mean, on the first drive we saw it. It was just I didn't even know that guy was on the roster. What I mean, Pat Freiermuth, like he got lost in translation. I didn't know we had any tight ends, to tell you the truth, but it was definitely nice. You like to see them finish drives. You know what I mean? Like they could have definitely scored more than what they did, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. I still don't think the Kenny questions have been completely answered, but the ticker is definitely pointing up than where it has been.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Chris, shout out to Chris jumping on the podcast side. Jeremiah back in the house, man. Good evening. He says, what's up, Chris? Jeremiah says, gentlemen, good evening. How are we doing on this victory Monday night? Oh, you're about to hear, brother.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers 7-4 and tied for second place, AFC North. And I can't wait to talk about how things look moving forward, but we'll certainly jump into that. Next up on initial thoughts is Shane, man. What was your take on the game?
Honestly, kind of mirroring what Freight Train said, is it was just a breath of fresh air because they moved the ball in a way we haven't seen this team do in literally multiple seasons. They get obviously the 400-yard mark. We'll talk more about that later, but they finally look like an actual NFL offense that plays in 2023, right? And yeah, the points didn't always happen in that game. There's some hiccups. There was the touchdown that should have been. There was the fumble by Warren. Just little things here and there, but I'd much rather not score points because of very fixable errors that this team usually doesn't make than because we quite literally cannot get in scoring position. So big step up for the offense. The defense looked, very good against a backup quarterback for the second week in a row. So they did their job. So overall, a solid win, just one that, again, you would have liked to see a little bit, not as close as it was.
Yeah. Have to agree there. TA, what was your take on the game, man?
Confidence builder.
Yeah.
Absolute 100% confidence builder. This is what this team needed to come out. You heard all the stories about how Canada was a great guy. We're going to miss him. We didn't get to have a going away party.
Great, yeah.
All the stuff that came along with it. We heard about it in the news as well. Woe is me. But, hey, they pulled it all together. And they went out and they played, quite honestly, the way that I felt they should have been playing since September.
Yeah.
And if they would have been playing that since September, could you imagine where we'd be right now for December ball?
Yeah. 100%.
The question is as Tomlin would like to say, now that we're on this moving train, boys and girls, where's that curve at? Where's that curve at going into December? But until we get to that point, let's hear what you had to say, JT.
Well, you know what? I had to mirror a lot of what you guys said too. I had Papa Son with me for the game. He was live on the PSF live game day. And we had a blast. He had an absolute blast. We had Andre jump on with us too. It was that was cool. And right off the bat, we started, man, if I'd have been drinking every time pass was completed to Freiermuth,
you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, I probably forgot about the last quarter of the game, but yeah, it was great to see. It was refreshing. I think all that blah, blah, blah was just word salad before that. They all knew the writing was on the wall, that he's got to go. Something has to change with the offense. And there was even beginning, stuff like the fight with, who was it, Deontay and
Minka, I think, right?
Yeah, Minka and then Cam, enough of that stuff. We dealt with that with AB before,
right?
But it certainly was, and I think his team rallied around it, man. I really do. Now, the downside of it too, my take was, we still only put up 16 points, but we looked much more efficient. First downs, the running game, etc. So, and
and the time of possession. Astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
Even started out the field position game worked in our favor early on and continued to be. So, time possession. I think TJ Watt said it best when he said that somebody asked him I don't know if you guys caught his interview after the game, but they were like, how did the defense feel? He's like, only 21 snaps. He said, we felt pretty good. We felt rested. So
Yeah,
nice to see them get a breather on the bench.
for sure.
Yeah. So definitely. So, I mean, that's one of the topics that we had penciled in to get into a little bit. So to kick off our quick hitters, TA, why don't you start with the OC by committee and give us your thoughts on that, and we'll roundtable that one.
Hey, look, the dynamic duo of Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan. I mean, I really like the way the dynamics are, and I got to give Tomlin kudos for doing it this way. And the reason I say that is because, as we already know, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. If you got two OCs, you definitely don't have an OC. But I think that they really paired well together. Because let's face it, the first thing they did in the playbook is they eliminated the 3 and out, because we didn't have 1 3 and out the entire game, which was fantastic. And this is from a team, guys, we're averaging over 2 a game. And Sunday we had 0. In Canada's 44 games, do you guys believe there was only 2 games without a 3 and out?
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, and it wasn't any time in the near future. You know what I mean? It was like when he first started.
Oh, absolutely. And then we turn around and it didn't look like a high school team anymore. There was no jet sweeps. We actually had more yards than our opponent. We had more plays than our opponent. We had more first downs than our opponent. Guys, I didn't have enough time to go back and research when the last time all 3 of those happened.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely it has. We own the time of possession. We actually were balanced. 33 rush attempts, 33 pass attempts.
Wow. I didn't realize that it was that balanced. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But the most compelling and the exclamation point on the entire game was the first game in 59 tries. We surpassed 400 plus yards out of the gate with Batman and Robin. Guys, why it took us this long to get to this point is beyond me. We've talked about it for years with the talent we have on this team. Now the question is what is our sky? Where's the sky? What's the ceiling?
Well,
where can this team go?
Well, and the best thing about it is it seemed like they kept the defense of Cincinnati off balance, right? I mean, the only thing that they really played us well against was the screen passes.
Because we're dog shit at those anyway.
Well, and that's pretty much what our whole offense was prior. You know what I mean? With screen passes. They kept them off balance. You saw, the shots downfield. And then obviously we don't even have to begin to explain about the middle of the field, because everybody saw what we saw. The defense was off balance, which opened the door for, Najee to have a really good game. It opened the door for so much other possibilities within our offense. And it's only going to get better from here if they continue down this path.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, should we bring it up since we're talking about that?
Sure.
Should we bring it on? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, spot the difference, guys.
Yeah.
Can you see the difference? Look at that green in the middle there. Can you see? Is showing up, hopefully.
And the biggest thing is their completions, too.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. That's why I feel like the arrow is pointing up with Kenny after this performance. You know what I mean? There's still a lot to prove. But look at the amount of completions compared to the one on the right.
And look at the 2 deeper passes, too.
Yes.
That were completions. There versus where's that 20-plus yards? That was 32 yards?
They're both 30 plus. Yeah, the deep shots.
Yeah. Where was those over here?
Not completed.
Completed. 15 of 28, 106 versus 24 for 33 for 278. And that was a balanced attack, too. That's pretty.
And I'm going to go ahead, since we're jumping on this, because the one thing that I've been on Kenny about is his accuracy.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, those long bombs, everything he threw, I think there was one pass that he threw a little bit too far in the ground. I was on a flat. I think it was to Najee who scooped it up. But other than that, I thought all of Kenny's passes were where they needed to be, minus the one that him and DJ were kind of off.
They got mixed up, and then he did miss George in the middle of the field once, but I think it's that top white on the screen, like in the middle of the field. But that was, I think he was getting pressured, so it was kind of iffy on that one too.
Yeah,
but overall,
that was
really
when
good.
his arm got hit.
That's right.
Yeah,
Replay went back and his arm got hit.
Yeah,
but I mean, overall, man, Kenny was dropping dimes, man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Hey, we got a message on the PSF app from Michigan Cheated. Nice name.
nice.
Biggest takeaway for me for these new guys, Kenny getting the green light to throw deep. Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
To elude the college game, look at Drew Lar in Penn State. His best game was when Urick decided to throw the ball deep against Maryland. Didn't always hit, but he kept the defense on us. Kenny getting the green light to do things other than his quick hitters and throws behind the sticks was big. So super good for Najee too and Kenny. And interesting how, brings that Najee, 99 yards, I think he ended up with, right?
Yep. On 15 carries it was.
Yeah. So his production, we saw what he can do, averaging 6.6 with the TD, 22 being his longest. So nice to see. He had to feel good about that.
It's crazy whenever the defense doesn't, know exactly what you're doing and also can just flood the box because they're not going to throw over their heads anyway.
Exactly. And that's another element too. I mean, how would you like to be Cincinnati going into this game with the backup quarterback? These fans, the poor fans, are dejected now. I mean, there has been very little chat on some of the chat rooms and stuff, and can't hardly blame them, man. But that was rough. So, as a defensive coordinator, how do you prepare for this?
If they can run the ball the way that they have over the last 4 games and Kenny can actually be a threat over the middle of the field if they allow him to be like they did in this game, it's no longer so simple to play this team because defensively you knew what you're getting. You're going to have a pass rush that's probably going to be ferocious. You're going to have to win on the outside. You're going to have to hope you can find matchups down the field offensively. Right. Defensively, though, you knew, okay, they're going to do this, this, and this, and that's it. If you can just execute your defense well, you're probably going to keep them to under 20 points. Now, I know we only scored 16, but defenses can't go into the games the rest of the season expecting that to be the case anymore.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's off the table now. We're going to keep – hopefully they'll continue this trend and keep other teams guessing, and hopefully that'll carry through the rest of the season too. No more comments, guys. Chris, he was in enemy territory Sunday watching the game.
I saw that, yeah.
Was so weak. Jeremiah also chat.
So I got to ask, Chris, does that mean you were on the paddle boat trying to swim across the Ohio River? I mean, what does that mean? The Indians were chasing you? You got to fill us in a little bit.
Hey, Tam, can you do me a favor?
Kentucky.
Tam, can you do me a favor and get my planner out of my lunchbox?
Ma, the meatloaf.
Hey, sorry, guys. I'm doing 6 things. I didn't know you put me on. Doing 6. Hi, guys.
Hey, man.
Is this like a photo bomb there, Bubba?
Oh. Well, I got my dates wrong on this one thing, and I was waiting. I don't know what December 4th is. So I just wanted to come on and say, you know what? What a great game yesterday. I don't care. It was awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely was. Wasn't enough cushion for Papa Son to be comfortable. So he was on the edge of his seat the whole game. But
we couldn't expect everything to change, right? They still had to do that.
No. Steps, boys.
If Dante would have caught 2 touchdowns, we'd have been in the mid-20s.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Well, let's face it. It did seem like this game at the end of the half it should have been like 21-7.
Yeah, it was not as close as it should. It was much closer than it should have been.
No, it really did. But, going back to Kenny here and just looking at this, what I've also noticed, too, is behind the line of scrimmage, there wasn't that many passes. Are we going to start to see less and less of that and actually throwing at the sticks?
Based on this game, it seems like it. Because the passes behind the line of scrimmage, every team does it, obviously. It's just they haven't done it effectively enough for it to be such a big part of their offense. And I understand part of it was just what Canada wanted to do and also maybe protecting Kenny a little bit when he was still banged up with his ribs, all that. That's great. But you can't win football games against competent teams doing that. You just can't. So we saw less of it. I'm expecting to see less of it more and more. And if we do see it, I'm just hoping it has a little bit more flair to it, not just a simple, let's see if we can block somebody, because this team cannot do that well.
Well, actually, it wasn't that much difference. I mean, versus Cleveland, there were 7 behind the line of scrimmage, and now one went incomplete, but against Cincinnati, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 behind.
There was 5, yeah,
5 behind the line of scrimmage, but the rest were further down the field, at least 5 yards down the field for a majority of those throws, and then in the middle of that zone too.
And all the behind the scrimmage passes were on the same exact side of the field too.
Yeah, they're just trying to get guys out in space on that side.
Yeah, spread them out. That made sense, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. Jeremiah chiming in. Wasn't that nice to see Denver take down Cleveland?
Yes, yeah, that was helpful. Yeah,
it certainly was. And then
I tell you what, it might be helpful, but that's a team you got to starting to worry about now.
That is true. Their defense is serious because they've been much more of a serious defense. Wilson isn't himself exactly, but he's much more of a quarterback than he was last year, so that offense can do some stuff.
And Sean's working his magic in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
They're on a streak now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not a team I want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, not a hot team like that, no.
Or you just got to hope they're blowing their load early.
That's always the hope with a team like that, because we've seen a lot of teams come up from even the Vikings. You look at the Vikings right now. I don't know what they're doing right now against the Bears, but they were dead in the water. And then Dobbs comes in after Cousins gets hurt, and they're rolling pretty good, still 6-5. Like it's never a guarantee a team's going to start poorly and end up not getting into the mix at the end. So
got to be hitting the stride. Now I got to ask you something, guys. We actually found Muth.
Yes.
He has been located.
Yes. Thank God.
Now, imagine this. He's had the best game of his career.
Yeah.
9 receptions for 120 yards. The last tight end on this team to have 100 yards was Vanimal.
The Vanimal.
The stiff arm game.
Oh, yeah.
Stiff arm game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was like forever. Heath Miller never had a 120-yard game. And as long as I've been doing this podcast, one thing that we've been screaming is why we don't get our tight ends more involved. Mm-hmm. Is this something that maybe has finally clicked and is going to flip the script? Because look, we had them all involved. It wasn't just Muth. I mean, we actually threw it to all of them this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, 12 of his 24 completions were to tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to pick that up, guys?
I like to think so, TA. I think that because they want to attack the middle of the field more, and that's where I think Pat can do his most damage, you're going to see at least more targets go his way. Now, is it going to be as efficient as 9 out of 11 targets? Probably not most of the time, but they're at least going to try to get the ball his way. Now, I hope that they can still get Pickens a little bit more involved. He only had the 5 targets. Deontay, unless he's going to start playing a little bit better, probably needs to come down a target or 2 as well. But point is, I expect these tight ends to still be a big part of the offense, and it felt purposeful, right? It wasn't just, oh, well, that's just a look we got. Like, it seemed like they were trying to call plays for these guys too. So
yeah, and I'd like to see, and I know I shit on them earlier in the year, but I'd like to see them use Darnell in the red zone more.
Yeah,
let him use his big body to score touchdowns rather than block the running backs. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let's see what that looks like.
At least in the red zone, I think you're right. I think you need to get more creative in the red zone because that was one of our big issues in this game. We didn't convert in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris was at family's house for Bengals fans.
Ooh,
called them Bungles.
Man, that must be a somber place right now.
Yeah, must be.
Lucky just lucky he made it out unscratched.
Yeah, unscratched.
Unscathed.
He didn't get the cat scratch fever?
No.
He didn't get the cat scratch fever down there in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
I had to laugh just before I quit work tonight. I was just kind of scanning social media. So this dude was in his car and he was going past the Bengals stadium and had a picture of his middle finger. He's like, I just wanted to let him know that I was going past. It was good. But yeah, man, all 3 tight ends participated for the first time. Hayward had what, two targets
2 for like 11. I think Darnell had 1 catch or something. Like they're at least trying to get those guys involved.
And did I see Allen Robinson had a couple catches? Like
he had 1. He had
one.
He had 1 catch for like 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you see that 1 catch? He was open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So can we get the dynamic duo to really start looking at this now and maybe switch up Kenny's first read, second read? I
It
don't
already
care if we're going
happened
to run
this
this
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really care if we run the same plays. Let's just switch up who number 1 to number 4 is.
I think that was a big difference, honestly. I don't think they from what I could tell, like a lot of the plays, like they removed some plays from the playbook. Like you didn't see that stupid sprint option. You didn't see the like curls across the board for no like benefit to the like a lot of that was taken out.
Jet sweep,
right?
Jet
like
sweep.
Exactly. But it
You'll
felt like
never see that again.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Everything just seemed much more purposeful, right? And that's what I think one of my biggest issues with Canada is like I found myself asking like, who is this for a lot? Like, what is the point of what you're doing right now? Like, what is your end goal with this play? I didn't have to ask that, I don't think, nearly as much on Sunday. So that's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah, the flow was there.
Yeah.
The setup was there. It was purposeful of every play we ran.
And honestly, the biggest drive that I knew things were changing in the right direction was when the third quarter just disappeared because we had the ball for over 8 minutes.
Yep.
That's the biggest change, was we possessed the ball and ended it with
drives.
Points. Yes. Kept the defense off the field, basically. Each team only had one possession in the third quarter. Am I wrong?
I think it was only one, maybe two for one of us, but it was not. The third quarter definitely flew by for sure.
Well, the Steelers had 22 first downs.
Yeah, that's a good day at the office for any offense.
But I heard something, guys, from my buddy from Australia. He was on his podcast. He said that Matt Canada never did anything with the other assistant coaches. They were never allowed to be anything on the offensive planning.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, well, that makes sense.
I mean, I got a question, Bubba, how he heard that clear down under. But then again,
he's everywhere. He must have heard it from actually some KDKA or Ed Bouchette or somebody from that nature, because he had a lot of information on his podcast tonight that I was listening to. And I didn't see that or hear that, but I can actually think that Matt Canada was so sure of himself that he wouldn't let Sullivan or Faulkner actually help him in any type of offensive scheming plans. So, and that game Sunday was total night and day from the Cleveland game to Cincy.
No doubt. Live by the sword.
Here's the other thing, because even Frank Trainer and I talked about this. You know, Eddie Faulkner come out there last week and said, "Oh, he's sorry to see Matt go. Not only was he great to work with, but he was a personal friend as well." And even Frank Trainer were talking. Well, if you were such great friends, at what point in time did you pull him aside at the men's funeral and say, "Look, your shit sucks, dude. We've got to change this. You need help."
You know what?
I mean, because if that's the case, I don't need that kind of friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but TA, some of those friends, they can't. You tell them 16 times and they never listen. And I think that's true. Matt Canada.
Yeah, I will say Faulkner and Sullivan working together, I think, was the right move. And I know you kind of talked about it when we started Freight Train, but you get Faulkner who's working with these running backs, right? And they're the lifeblood of the offense when it was bad, right? They were at least keeping us in games and keeping the offense going. You let him be the guy that's actually technically the offensive play caller or the offensive coordinator. He helps game plan, gets the run game in the right spot. And Sullivan gets to actually call those plays based on what Faulkner's probably telling him in the run game. And then he can handle the passing game. I think that's a really good way to handle, especially a midseason firing where you don't want to put everything on one guy's plate, right? Because both these guys are still their coaches for the offense, for quarterbacks and running backs. Like, it's just a lot to ask one guy to do.
Well, and do you think Kenny is more comfortable?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that guy's been his right-hand man the whole time he's been there. So
Sullivan knows what he wants to do, and you could tell because Kenny, for the first time in a while now, and this was the thing that I was worried about with him going into this game, is like, I know Canada's a big part of the issue, but I worried that Canada had already kind of done the damage to Kenny, right, as a player, where could he find himself outside of that offensive structure again, especially this year? Because if he played like he did the previous 4 games this week and moving forward, I know the Steelers are very loyal. We know how much they want him to work out. There's no guarantee they're going to keep him if he played the way he did the last few games before that. So him playing the way he did tells me that it really was mostly in terms of like at least his ability to see the field and his ability to be comfortable as a quarterback. A lot of it was stemming simply from the offense he was playing in. Because 1 week, you should not look this much different in 1 week. I don't care what the play calls are. I don't get because it's one thing for the game to be called better, which it was. But he made the throws that he's not been making. He's looked in areas of the field where he wasn't looking. Like it really felt like he was basically turning into Matt Canada's personal point and click guy. Like, oh, just go here, just go. Like it felt like he wasn't the one actually playing quarterback in this offense. And this week, it looked very much like he was.
Right. I kind of compare it to Forrest Gump when Jenny tells him to run when he has the leg braces on. As he's running, they break off, and he ends up getting a scholarship to the Alabama because he runs like the wind.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it. Maybe Kenny finally broke those leg braces off, and they just let him throw the football.
Pass, Kenny, pass.
Yeah, exactly.
We want him throwing right now like he threw yesterday. Now for the rest of the season,
Right.
250, 1 touchdown. I'm happy. He would have had 2, like I said before. Dante is the weak link now, I believe.
Yeah, that play was tough because one, by the rule, technically that probably should have been. I don't think they would have changed it if they.
Well,
but
probably not.
Probably. That's beside the point. But the fumble that Warren
that was a whole other problem.
Yeah, you lackadaisical. You got to play. You never walk onto a field, whatever. You're coached that in high school.
That was tough.
You know,
that was tough to watch.
It's ridiculous. So
that was brutal to watch. Somebody needs to smack him upside the head.
Well, Fitzpatrick tried.
Yeah, that is true. He definitely tried.
Get another comment, Chris chiming in. Kenny didn't look scared this game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think you're right.
Look comfortable.
Is that confidence? A little confidence boost there? Had to feel better about that.
Had to. Yeah. Like he hit that middle seam to Pat, and it was off to the races from there once that happened the first play. So.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a season high and a career high, the second most in his career in passing.
Yeah.
And continues on without an interception 7 straight games now.
Still protecting the football.
That's huge. That's big.
He broke Ben's record.
Yeah, most pass attempts, and then I think was it Brister that had the most games though, but he didn't have as many attempts as Ben had. So I think it's attempts was Ben and games was Brister. But
that is correct. It was 208 attempts on Ben, and games I think is 8 for Brister.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
still protecting the football. Good for him. Got to still do that with this new offense, but he still did it. So
yeah, the arrow's pointing up, fellas.
So now going back to everything that you guys said, this is kind of what I seen. You know, it's almost as if going back to last year, Ben gave him a call right after he was picked up and said, "Look, this guy's an idiot. There's nothing you can do about it. However, you got to have your best shit for the fourth quarter." All right, because that's where you're just going to take over the game and you're going to try to win it on your own. And you got to man up for that. And we watched him do that.
Yeah, he's done.
Now that this guy is out and we've taken the shackles off of him and we've seen what he can potentially do. And I say potentially with a heavy emphasis on the P word, okay? Because at the end of the day, let's still keep in mind, guys, that A, this was the 28th ranked defense.
Yeah.
B, what we're about ready to see from now until we go to Seattle is going to be
garbage
shit play. It's going to be garbage.
Terrible.
So what we really need to see out of this is to have a refreshed offense every single game, something that is keeping the defense on their toes and continue to build the confidence within this group. So when we do get to the playoffs, because guys, we are now going to the playoffs. There's no doubt about it in my mind. We will go to playoffs. The question is now, when we get to the playoffs, will we have kept enough in the reserve tank to put everything together? Because now we've just shortened our season, and where we're looking at November and December football, we're still trying to put that together now in December. So when playoff time comes, nobody knows what the fuck we're doing.
That's right. And they say you got to be playing your best football in December. So now's the time to do it. Let's keep that needle pointing up.
Well, and
really
go ahead, Bubba.
No, I was just going to say there's really no strong teams in the AFC right now. I don't think.
No.
Kansas City, Miami. I don't think so.
Right.
They're okay.
Every team is beatable. Every team in the AFC is beatable. There's a lot of really, really good teams in the AFC, but I think that because of the Chiefs' issues with receiver and Miami's issues with their offense not being as explosive, like everybody has a flaw that can be exploited. And this team is good enough with an offense that's just capable, because we're not asking this team to suddenly become a juggernaut offensively. That was never in the question, realistically. They just have to be able to keep pace with a team that scores 20 points. Yeah. We haven't seen that much this year, but this week I think we saw the first glimpse of it.
Right.
Keep it close, win the turnover battle on the field position, and hopefully come through in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And the good news is, Shane, we just eliminated our flaw.
That's the big thing, is we don't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be a top 10 offense, maybe not even a top 5. If you can be a solidly middle class offense with the defense the way that it's playing, even with the injuries we have, like when Minka gets back, you're expecting more. Thompson had a good day with the pick in his stead anyway. Like he played well. Like this defense is more than good enough to get us through a solid playoff race if the offense can hold serve for us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to put out there right now, Trent Thompson for number 2. Minka's coming back next week. Trent Thompson should not be leaving the field.
I think he's earned his right to play a lot still.
Yeah.
Even if KZ technically starts, I think we're going to see all three of those guys a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. Jeremiah chiming in about the Bristol. Trying to forget the Bristol.
Well,
yeah, no, but the way it broke down, we touched on this earlier in the first quarter. It looks like they were just driving down. That pass to Deontay Johnson, Tomlin didn't challenge it. I couldn't even tell if the announcers were really leaning one way or the other. They were just bouncing back and forth on it. And
it's tough, JT, because I'll just say this: like Gene Steratore came on and said that technically, if you look at the letter of the rule, like how it actually is spoken out, it was technically a touchdown, but I think it was so close to even that ruling that it probably was a 50-50 shot if you challenge. But Tomlin's just been so iffy with his challenges forever that I'm like, this is one that's so close that like maybe he is going to do it, because like, what's the point of not doing it? But he still didn't do it. So, but I don't know if it would have. I don't know if it would have flipped anyway.
I don't know.
But you know what? He's got to try it.
Right. I wish he would have tried, but
I agree. And why is it that last week he made the excuse that he was in Cleveland and the replay didn't come down in quick enough time? He kind of even alluded to it this week as well, too.
He most certainly did. Yes, he did.
So my question is on this, and this is going back to Jesse James. Did we or did we not already discover that once that ball crosses the plane and possession is determined, it's a catch. I don't give a fuck what your feet's doing. I don't care what your hands are doing. I don't care what your body's doing. You want to get out there and you want to throw a strip pole up and down there on the goalpost. Once you have possession, once it crosses the goal line, touchdown, end of story. All of those happen. So I don't even want to hear it was hard to tell because did we count 3 steps? I don't need a 3-step. I need it 1 step, possession, ball cross the goal line, touchdown.
That's right. As soon as you cross that plane, right?
Well, you still have to get 2 feet in the end zone down though.
Well, sure. He did.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know. I'm not arguing that fact either. And when his foot went out of bounds, it should have been a dead ball anyways. Correct.
That's why that, like, the rule, the way it's stated, is why it technically should have been a touchdown. The problem is, one, it wasn't ruled that way on the field, so it has to be completely, like, it has to be actually overturned, not just stand like other challenges might be. Right. And the other problem is, again, I don't know if Deontay really campaigned hard for it to be a touchdown. I didn't see what his body like. I didn't look to see if he was telling Tom, like, "Hey, I think I got this." Like, I don't know if he was doing it. Like,
yeah,
they can get.
I wasn't looking to see. Yeah, I wasn't looking.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, usually on, like, so when a quarterback's arm gets hit and the ball comes spiraling out of his hand.
Right.
They let the play unfold because then they can reverse it if it's not. It should be the same thing on a touchdown. Let the play finish out. Call the touchdown.
Play, I do agree. Call touchdown because it's an immediate review then.
It's getting reviewed regardless. Every scoring play is reviewed in the NFL.
I agree.
Why not call it a touchdown?
Call it a touchdown. If it's not, then you can reverse it back.
Where's the coach they had for they had somebody they were hired for somebody to do this if something had to go down to get a hold of Tomlin? Where was that person at that they hired? Where was he at? What was he doing? Hot dog.
Replay guy.
Sure, Bubba, that
no, Steelers have somebody for challenges and time management. They had hired somebody.
Well, what they said was
Tomlin Canada's luggage boy.
They gave him a different job. Yeah.
Well, either that or he was watching the time clock debacle that happened.
That was the whole thing. Later.
He was trying to figure out how much time was even on the clock. He couldn't even watch the play.
Tomlin blamed it on the away scorekeeper and video plays. He said they didn't have enough time to review it on the board. That's one of the things about playing away. When there's a scoring, I don't know.
That's excuses.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't like that.
He said that they didn't have time to really get a good look at it, a second look at it.
I mean, there's TV screens everywhere you look in the freaking stadium, right? Where you have coaches, you have the game being played on a television in front of you.
He said that they didn't replay it again. In all honesty, he'd have been better off coming out and saying, you know what, guys, I'm tired of being embarrassed on national television.
That's my challenge. I ain't challenging nothing anymore.
I'm not challenging nothing. Exactly right.
I would respect that more.
If he'd said that, I'd had more respect for him for that there than anything else. I'm just not pulling a red flag out of my sock. My name is not Bill Belichick. I'm not getting.
Well, I thought he runs two challenges, not away from them.
I couldn't pull it past the shoestrings. Something.
Yeah.
No, it's honestly the other thing. It's the first quarter, man. Take your shot. It's a touchdown. This team doesn't score touchdowns. I'm just throwing it anyway. If I think it's even,
and first
that's my mentality. It's not his. I will say that's not the same mentality.
And first half timeouts aren't as crucial as second half timeouts.
No, not especially in a game where you have a backup quarterback you're playing against. You trust your defense to make it not important for you to get a last second touchdown before the half.
Right.
So I don't know. It was frustrating for sure.
Certainly was. So should we move on to the second quarter?
Mm-hmm.
It's 7-3, 7-3. We trailed, right?
Yeah, 7-3.
7-3.
Mostly on the backs of the defense volleying the ball to Bengals receivers for some reason, randomly. One of the weirdest games I've ever seen from a backup quarterback is his stats don't look that bad, but half of his passing yards came on plays where the defense touched the ball first, and I don't know what to do with that. You know what I mean? You just kind of laugh at it because you won.
Well, you got to give credit to those receivers for being
ready to go. Yeah, to find the ball. And
they're still looking for the ball and still ready to play. Unlike one of our receivers.
Yeah, our receivers would have just watched it flutter, what's that doing up there?
Oh, yeah, I don't need to jump now.
He threw that pass to Nixon, and that was a big gain. I mean, that was just, other than that was something. And we just, Nixon wasn't a factor in that game. Thank God.
Not at all. And you know what, something, since we're on that topic, that Papa Son brought up, he's just where is that was their key is to establish a running game. I thought they went away from that way too early.
I don't know what Zach Taylor was thinking. I'll be honest with you guys. Mixon has not been good this year, but this is a team you can run the football on.
This year.
And they just didn't seem super interested. I mean, it didn't work great when they started doing it initially, but still, you got to stick with it with a backup quarterback.
Look,
8 carries for 16 yards.
Yes. 8 carries. There's nothing. That's not sticking to nothing. That's the first 4 plays, and you gave up. I said done.
That's like when we ran the ball 9 times against the Niners. At least we were down 30-7. At least we lost by 20-something points. They were in the game the whole time.
And their only rushing yards were 9 yards from Browning rushing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
25 yards on the ground.
That's unacceptable. If
That's
you're the Bengals.
pathetic. 2.3 yards per.
Tough sledding.
Yeah,
they've already checked out since they don't have Burrow. They just checked out the whole season anyway.
I think so.
Yeah, Burrow's what makes that offense because Taylor's not a bad play caller, but he's not the kind of guy that's gonna dial up this great game plan for a backup quarterback. Like, it really looked like he pretty much just said, "Hey, Browning, you're going to have to go be Burrow, and if you can't do it, then we're going to lose." And that's exactly what happened.
Hey, so I got to ask you guys this. Just watching a game, they pan over to Burrow. It's like, hey, I got my beats in. All right, I'm done tired of listening to Pandora. Now I'm going to sit over here on the bench and I'm going to pout. That wasn't a good look for Burrow. He didn't look like he was genuinely engaged in that game whatsoever. I've been watching the Jets because I just want to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Because I like
what is he going to say? Do whatever.
But damn, Aaron Rodgers at least engaged during the entire game.
Yeah.
Burrow could give two shits less about being there.
I think he's fed up. I'll be honest with you. I think between the offensive line issues, between the injuries that have to be frustrating him, like the calf he played through and he was not good and it was bad, but they trudged through it. They get back above 500. And then another thing happens with his wrist. I think, admittedly, like, it's a bad look. I'm not going to try to make excuses for the guy. I do think that the reason behind that, though, is he just frankly is fed up with the current state of the roster. And if they want to make good on the investment they made in him and allow him to be the player that he's shown to be, they got to figure something out that they haven't been able to figure out with the offensive line.
I'm just happy to see it.
Oh, me too. I'm for now, absolutely. I'm good.
Keep thinking of Myron Cope through all that game.
Yeah.
The Bungles.
They're back. They're back for this year. At least for this year, they're back.
Yeah, they certainly are. Yeah. Rough season, man, for them. No
Absolutely.
doubt. No doubt. So, well, let's move on. Third quarter. We pulled ahead then with the touchdown.
Yep, Najee runs it in. Part of a big day.
Yeah, big day. 99 yards on the ground. And a TD was nice. He had to feel better about that.
Oh, yeah. The best game he's played since that weird at the end of rookie season game against Cleveland. Like, he was a different runner in this game, and I think a lot of it was the play calling and his mentality, honestly, both of those things.
So you mentioned that, Shane, mentality. Let me ask you a question. Did it look like this team came out with a whole different mentality, and the mentality that they had was, I want this cat gone, and we do not want to play for him? Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't think so. I think there's an energy to this team that hasn't been there since really the preseason, probably. Like,
absolutely.
They had expectations, and then they were quickly squashed by pretty much every single metric and thing that they did. And I think
with the 49ers.
It did, yeah. I mean, they got punched in the mouth, and they knew it, and they realized that this is who they are, unfortunately, with Canada there. And I think, again, like, I'm not saying that Sullivan and Faulkner are like this elite duo or anything like that. I'm not saying that's the best option, like, especially past the end of the year. But it doesn't take much, apparently, for them to just be able to get up and say, okay, well, now we can actually play offense in this league. We can actually do something effectively. And they played like it, and I hope that it continues, and I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
Freight Train, you're quiet. You're not saying a word.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Look, I'm the one who's sick.
Am I stealing all your talking points, Freight Train?
Pretty much. I don't want to be an echo.
He had to dig deep for the one Forrest Gump and pulling the braces.
I know.
I do appreciate that one.
The wheels are turning
he's
here.
Just gone dead. Do you need a box of chocolates?
That's all I'm gonna get. Yep, that's all life is. I mean, you could tell they definitely came out with a almost like a vote of confidence of, okay, the chains have been taken off.
Yep.
The expectations weren't as high, you know what I mean? Because we knew the circumstance, right? We knew, okay, at least I didn't. TA drank the Kool-Aid. He said they were going to score 31 points. I knew they weren't going to have.
They could have.
They could have, absolutely. But I didn't have as high of expectations.
They were just train. They should have.
They should have, yeah.
Okay. But I wasn't expecting that. I was more looking for schematically looking different, right?
Right.
Where we're utilizing the weapons that we haven't utilized all season long. You know what I mean? I wanted to see them try the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I wanted to see them get Najee running with a full head of steam and not getting hit 3 yards in the backfield. You know what I mean? I wanted to see that stuff. And like if Kenny would have came out and threw for 267 but had 2 interceptions in the middle of the field, I wouldn't have even been pissed.
Yeah, because
you know
at least
they
did it. At least they tried. Yeah.
Right. It looked different. It felt different. It gave me a vote of confidence as a fan. I couldn't imagine as a player that has to perform on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? So
it's just something else. And you brought this up without bringing it up. Did we ever see the pistol underneath Canada?
No, straight shotgun mostly, and if they were under center, it was to run the football. Basically, that's it.
Was that not a beautiful thing to see us come out in the pistol, give Najee an extra 3 yards to build up ahead of seam to hit the hole?
Absolutely. You saw in some of those runs to the outside when he had a lane to the outside and he got up to speed. Those guys didn't want to tackle him. Did you see him dribble that one guy when he was going out of bounds, like for the bank, like dribbled him off the ground? Like that's the thing with Najee is he hasn't been given the opportunity to open up and actually run in space that much this year. And when he does, it's just so hard to tackle a guy like that. Like I don't care how good of a tackle you are. I don't care how big you are as a safety or whatever else. That's a big guy running faster than people give him credit for when he gets to open up. Like it's just tough.
Well, we saw it on the play where he had 9 guys attached to him.
Yeah, and then he just like, too bad.
6
Yeah,
yards.
too bad.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm
He ran with
surprised they
purpose.
called that.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't call that one back and say we called the plate dead.
Yeah.
Usually they do. I hate when they do that.
Right. But the one that got me the most is that 22-yard run where at the end he laid that shoulder
That's what I'm saying,
down and smacked the piss out of him. Now, if that was Franco Harris, because I know Franco Harris talked to him, he said, look, kid, just get out of bounds. Save the body. He made a statement on that play that I'm here, I'm back, and I'm ready to go. And I am looking forward. So my question now to you guys, all right, and Bubba, speak up as well. I want to know, will we see or develop an identity before we hit the playoffs? JT. And
well, all right. Well, I think this is just going to be a combination of continuing to develop on offense, develop this offense, and continue to play good, solid defense. Stop the run when that's the big key, and minimize the damage. It's been kind of a bend but don't break type of defense with some key splash plays thrown in from time to time. So what I would like to see is that the yardage match the touchdowns and to see us get up into the 20-point range in these next couple games. And I think we have an opportunity to do it. I was digging into this, and maybe if we have time, we can kind of jump into how the playoff picture is starting to pan out. But, I've been saying all day yesterday, I was saying, you know what, this Baltimore game at the end of the year could come down to the division. It's not out of reach at this point. And so that's, I'd really like to see us continue to play. I'm worried about one of these games being a trap game, and I hope it's not. I'm really looking forward to beating the pants off of Belichick for a change. So how about you guys? What do you want to see?
Go ahead, Freight Train.
I always got to go second fiddle.
I gotta let you go.
Hey, if we don't go second fiddle, you bitch and whine and complain that we took your thunder.
That's true.
Right. You got center stage.
So look, you got it now, baby.
I think this team has already started to form an identity, even with Canada the past 2 weeks. I think we saw them kind of turn the tide into a smash mouth kind of offense. You know what I mean? Like we changed our offensive line to be more road gradish. Okay. Our running backs have ran with more purpose. Okay. And I see that us developing that more throughout the season, right? Developing that Pittsburgh football mentality and bring it back because we have those type of running backs.
I like it.
Did I steal everybody else's thunder? Because it went.
You did. You silenced us, man. Bubba, still there, Bubba?
I'm still here. I just didn't want to. Me, I talk a lot, but
No, go ahead.
No, the thing is though, they like Freight Train said, they already made their identity. We're averaging over 100 and some yards the last 3 to 4 games in rushing. All we got to do. They had I got my notes here for my show Wednesday. They had almost 38 minutes in time of possession against the crappy Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to keep doing that. The defense is going to bend but don't break. They're going to come up with big plays when you least expect it. And honestly, the game that they might falter in is going out to Seattle, because that scares me, because that's traveling out onto the West Coast.
West Coast.
Every other game, we're really, for the rest of the season, we have the weakest schedule. We are in every game, and 12-5, which I predicted, is coming very, very close, because I don't see them losing at home against the Cardinals or New England. And just it's not a running game of Najee and Warren. They're both complementing each other, and it's not one of the, it's both 1 and 2. It doesn't matter who's in there.
It's like a Batman and Robin situation.
That's fine with me.
No, I agree with you guys. I think ultimately, because you asked about their identity. I think the identity is playing complementary football, because going into the season, that's what they ultimately wanted. They wanted to be able to lean on the defense, but they wanted to play an offense that didn't turn the ball over, could keep the ball out of the hands of the other offense, run the ball, get enough points to win, get out of there. They haven't been able to do it all year because they weren't doing what they wanted to do. They couldn't actually sustain drives. This game showed that they can do that. Now they need to get more points, obviously. If they're going to get 400 yards, you want to see 25, plus points as combined with that. But as long as they don't turn the ball over and they can continue to keep these drives going without risking the ball too much, it's just going to be hard to beat this team, because the defense is still legit. They're going to get healthier, obviously when Mika gets back. That's the identity, is give your defense every opportunity to be the playmaking defense that they've shown to be, and your offense has to be able to actually hold on to the ball for more than 20 minutes of the game.
So, I love all of you guys' answers. TA is not going to go ahead and be controversial tonight.
However, tonight.
Holy shit.
Tonight.
However, what I am loving right now is we are getting nasty in the trenches.
Yep.
In the trenches. We are running the ball. We are stopping the run. One thing we did not say, old Joey Porter Jr. went ahead and held. I'm taking those 2 passes out of the
the weird ones. Yeah.
I'm holding him to 2 pass plays. You held probably a number 5, at least top receiver in the NFL, to 2 catches. Kudos to you, Joey Porter Jr.
I told you he's a real deal. I told you guys he's a real deal.
Stop. I still want to see the kid get a little cleaner in his play.
Yeah.
A little less yellow being thrown his way.
He's a rookie. It happens.
But I want to see that develop. TA wants fucking 5 stars all the time. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you started today or you've been in this league for 20 years, he expects 5 stars. And that's what he expects from this team.
Well, aren't we seeing that? Aren't we seeing that week to week, him grow?
Oh, we absolutely are.
Yeah,
we absolutely are. We're seeing this whole team grow, JT. That's the exciting part right now. This firing couldn't have came at a better time. It came at a perfect time. Now, with that being said, we have some things to work upon. And if we can continue to dial in the trenches, because remember, there's still a defensive coordinator who's the media could turn to him very, very quick if we start to lose in the next 5 weeks.
That's true.
Because we've already talked about it. Canada was the guy who shielded him. It's up to him now to make sure his name don't get on the hot seat. Because I tell you what, in these next games coming up, if we don't end, what was that, Bubba, that you said? How many games? We lose 5 in 12?
I think he might have left the
Bubba's having issues. Because I think Bubba and I are both on the same page.
He said 12-5, though. You're right. Yeah.
Yep. I think we have a shot, guys. And I have look, I really have a strong feeling now, better than ever before, that we have a chance to even make it to the AFC Championship game. because as you've already alluded to, Shane, there's nobody in the AFC right now that I am scared of, and I'm not even scared of KC, but the road goes through KC.
It does.
And
it's going to until proven otherwise, it does.
Until proven otherwise. And I think we can beat KC. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and this is hard to believe, we have a fucking very good chance of making it to the Super Bowl right now.
You're optimistic.
A very good chance of making it to the Super Bowl right now. All we have to do is continue to put the pieces together because it's been that kind of crazy season.
It has.
It's got to go in series, though, TA. Get into the playoffs and then win a playoff game.
That's right. Any given
we have to take those steps, Bubba. We have to take those steps.
I mean, I feel you. I love what you're saying. Believe me, I'm ready to party too. But I've been disappointed many times.
I think the difference between just even after 1 week, and obviously this all could go to shit if next week the offense falls back down. Like we're not saying that's impossible, but for the first time this season since they opened against the Niners and kind of shit the bed, there seems to be a path for this team to not just be a scrappy, like, oh, we can win games because we're just good at the end of the game and Kenny shows up. I was like, there's a path to actually win games because we're just straight up better than the other team, right? We have not really seen that much at all this year because we haven't been able to put it all together for a game. And even this game, we didn't because there was mistakes that led to lack of points. But, whatever. If they put together a full game against any of the other top AFC teams, I think that they can beat them. Opposed to before this, I would have said, I don't think we can beat them even if we had put together a full game. So that's really the thing I'm most excited about, I think, the rest of the year.
Cool. Have to agree with. Did we all get our chance in?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, another comment. I'm liking this Trenton Thompson's play, built to be a Steeler with his physicality.
He's played very well in Minka's stead. So
no doubt. All right, guys. Any last thoughts as we put a lid on this game? No.
Stack them up.
All right. Yeah.
Keep stacking together.
So, how did our predictions fare? I just see the two. Let's see. Oh, I didn't get my prediction in.
Yeah, I didn't either. Freight Train was closest, 17-13.
17-13. Good job, Freight Train.
TA shot for the moon, but that score could have happened. Yeah. I will give him credit. Like that could have happened easily.
Yeah.
400 plus yards. That score should have happened.
Yeah, I was going to say that definitely could have happened easily. I'm not. You were on the right track. I would say. I'll give you that.
Yeah. TA's ready to roll now.
We
cut the cancer out.
With my pick, I'd just like to thank our non-sponsors and the Steelers Realm for giving me a chance to bump my chops on here. The Triple B Experience for believing in me and allowing me to join their team as well.
God bless you.
Can we take the mic away from him now, please?
I didn't show up on FanDuel this week. I promise you that, though.
Speaking of FanDuel, I was depending on how this Vikings game goes because I bet on that too. I had a 12-game parlay, and I only missed 2 games.
Oh, wow!
I was a little bit upset because it was the Texans-Jags game, and I think it was what other game was it? Cardinals game. I think I had them covering because I just thought that Murray would be able to be better, but that didn't happen.
That's Dobbs for you.
Yeah, that's Dobbs.
Yeah. Jeremiah chiming in a couple last chimes. Got a new listener. Also, Zane. Did I miss the Deontay?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zane. Sorry, man. We blasted him pretty good early on.
Long story short, don't give up on plays. Also, catch the ball better. I guess.
Yeah.
Go back to the tennis balls.
Even when you hit the ground.
And next year he won't be a Steeler.
Totally possible. Yeah, totally possible. So.
Yeah. Too many prima donnas, man. So, all right. Well, let's go back. Jeremiah, remember the 2005 Steelers needed to win out to make the playoffs. They did that, and they were the team holding the Lombardi Trophy in the end. Yeah.
It's always possible, guys. I mean, it felt, like I said before this game, I would have said it didn't feel like that type of thing was possible.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of not in the same way because I don't think we'll need to win out. Obviously, we're 7-4, but if we're hot going into the playoffs, we could pull off a similar type of situation.
I tell you what, this feels good. Okay, this is the first time
being able to be optimistic.
We didn't consistently bitch about everything.
Yeah.
Like, it actually feels like we won a football game.
Yes.
But you know what the positive thing is I'm sitting back and listening, and I come up with this analogy of actually Cam Hayward saying, "Look, this might be the last time I got an opportunity, guys. Bringing everybody in, having a team meeting, and say, hey guys, let's go down the road and just let's beat the living shit out of everybody, get us into the playoffs. Let's win one. TJ, let's win one for TJ, and let's go, and then see if they get to the AFC Championship game. And if they do that, then they go to the big game, like TA said. I just see somebody, Cam Hayward, rallying this team, being the leader that he is.
Absolutely,
I can see it.
You know what? Speaking of TJ, we didn't give him accolades there, but he set a new record. He's now number 2 in total amount of sacks. Went to what, 91 now?
I think it's 91 now. Yeah,
91, like, and he exceeded that many in under 100.
He needs 10 more to get $500,000 from Pat McAfee.
And Reggie White.
It could happen.
Reggie White that record at 105. His number of sacks.
Yeah, he's back in the lead. I don't know if Daniil Hunter's had a sack tonight for the Vikings. Otherwise, if he hasn't, then TJ's the league leader right now, still going into next week.
Yeah, he was.
So
he'll get three against the Cardinals.
Moved ahead of
Miles. He could. We'll see.
Let's hope so.
Murray's going to be running around. There'll be opportunities.
Yeah. Hey, Zane, thanks for subscribing to our channel, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys tuning in too. So more to come from us, and don't forget tune in at Triple B Experience, the podcast. Bubba leading that.
And thanks for inviting me on.
Anytime, man. You got carte blanche. You know that, buddy.
Oh, I don't know about that. But thank you. God bless you guys.
So, yeah, make sure to tune in to them. And then catch, we're going to be off for this upcoming game against the Cards. So enjoy that. I'm not sure who's taking that game. I don't have the PSF schedule.
Is it the Steelers by Lake guys, or is it?
It could be. Yeah.
Okay.
So make sure to tune in live for that. We'll be back on the Steelers Around podcast. We'll be back Thursday with our pregame for the Cardinals game. And then, Shane, why don't you give us a quick plug on what you got going on?
Yeah, so I'll do my Still Curtain shows Wednesday only this week because my main co-host is out, has his new kid, taking care of her. So we're going to be hopefully having a guest on for that. I'm working on that. Trying to get a Cardinals person with fan site. It's kind of tough because they're kind of working through stuff with the Cardinals site, but definitely check that out at 1:30 on Wednesday.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Well, we don't want to sign off before our bright spot of the game picks. So let's go around the horn. Freight Train, you're on the top screen. Go ahead and your spot of the game.
It to me. I'm giving it to the offensive coordinators. Okay. They had to come out and prove that they were worthy of this promotion, and I'd say they passed with flying colors in the first week of doing this. I mean, you break a streak of 59 consecutive games without the 400 mark that everybody, even nationally, was talking about, and now we get to finally shut them up. So they are hands down my players of the game.
All right.
Cool. Bubba, what do you got, man? Since you
I'm gonna be facetious. I'm gonna say the individual, which was Mike Tomlin firing Matt Canada, that made us all fall.
Yeah. MVP is the guy who no longer exists here.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Tomlin firing Canada.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Hard to argue that.
All right. Freight Train. I
already went.
Shane, go ahead.
I'm honestly, you got to give it to Muth, right? Career day.
Oh,
the field, opening that up. Like, he's going to be the key to not only unlocking the middle of the field, but just having somebody who you can be confident about throwing to the middle of the field where he's a big target. Yeah, he's a big target. Turnovers probably aren't going to come throwing his way, and let's just make a bad read. Like, if him and Kenny can get into a rhythm and he can be the primary kind of like first read over the middle of the field, at least, I think this offense can keep rolling the same way that we saw with the passing game.
Well, if you're a defensive coordinator and you look at the history of this offensive play calling through all these games up until yesterday, why would you cover the middle of the field? They don't throw
exactly. Exactly. And if they start having to cover the middle of the field, guess who's going to be running down the sidelines with free releases? So
2 screamers. Yeah. Maybe 3.
Maybe.
TA, who was your bright spot, man?
Look, I really feel like I gotta go ahead and I gotta jump Bubba and say Art Rooney the second. But Bubba, I'm gonna give you it to you, buddy. And I'm just gonna go with Trent Thompson. As far as I'm concerned, he's our number 2 safety right now. And nothing against KC, nothing against the other guys. Shannon, Sullivan, they've all done good. But this kid needs to be right there beside Minka.
I agree.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Jeremiah chiming in. Great show tonight, guys. Let's go Steelers. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yep. Jeremiah, Zane, thanks for joining in too, man. Chris, good to see you as always. And of course, Bubba, we welcome you guys. I'm gonna leave it with Najee. It might bright the game.
Glad you mentioned him. Yeah,
I think we were all right on the mark with this. Plenty of game balls to go around this week. If we had one more person to throw in Kenny in there, I guess he would be my honorable mention.
Kenny, TJ, it's you expect it from him, but 2 sacks is great. Yeah, so
Kenny really showing up and looking much better. And doing that too deserves honorable.
And you can also get Pickens to recovering that onside kick and actually running like 10 yards.
Make sure we can end the game.
Yeah. Sealing it up. That's it.
Big downfield catch too, even with just 5 targets. So
yeah, definitely. Sounds good, boys. Well, hey, looking forward to stacking another one coming up this Sunday. We'll have a Thursday show, Thursday pregame show on Steelers Realm Podcast, and who knows, if we're feeling like it, we'll just jump on PSF too as well.
Maybe
thoughts with those guys too, if the schedule permits. So appreciate you guys, man. Go Steelers. Zane, thanks for tuning in. Guys, have a great week. The rest of your week. Careful in the hot tub. As always, we'll catch you next time.
Adios, amigos.
Say good night, gentlemen. How about a little exit?
Good night. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, John Boy.
Feliz Navidad.
There you go.
Feliz Navidad.
That means Merry Christmas.
Hey, we're in Christmas season now. It's past Thanksgiving. You can start saying it.
Oh, dude, I started eating the Little Debbie Christmas trees like 3 weeks ago. I've already been in the spirit.
As soon as they hit the shelf.
Yeah, once they're available, it's free. It's free real estate at that point.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but that shirt's a little more tighter. It was way before.
These aren't these aren't from going to the gym. I'll tell you that.
Hey, I spent $30 at McDonald's Friday night and bought the penguin thing, and I didn't even get a drink with it. I had to get a milkshake.
That's why they call us. That's why they put us in the heavyweight category.
Oh, yeah. I won't do that again. It's ridiculous.
All right, awesome. Guys. Catch you next time. Have a good one.
Hey, see you guys. Thanks for.
Check back next week into the Steelers Realm.